And we're live.
We are alive.
We are alive. And we are alive.
We are alive. Somos vida.
We are living. We are alive. We're just waiting for our guest. Hello. How's everyone doing?
We're doing very good considering life situations.
Yeah.
Yeah, today's a beautiful day. Plants are growing.
Mm-hmm.
Mama's doing good.
Getting there.
Mama's doing good. Hi. Wave.
So today we're going to be talking about some ways in which we can all empower ourselves during these times. So we're going to go with 3, 2,
1, go.
Here we go. Connecting.
Hey, how are you?
Hi.
How are you?
Hi.
I'm great. How are you?
Doing good, thanks.
Very good, thank you.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, you can hear us.
Awesome. Yeah.
Good.
Wonderful.
First step.
Yes. So we're
Yeah.
joining in from New York. You're coming from Romania, right?
Romania. Yeah.
What's
Sorry?
What city? He asked.
Sorry. It was cutting off. So I'm coming from Bucharest. I'm in the capital right now.
Nice. Very good.
I'm from a different city, but I'm living in the capital right now, and it's kind of crazy. I was hearing what you were saying before, so yeah, it's everywhere is kind of crazy right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but really cool that we can all thumbs up. Very, very good that we can connect this way. You know, at least we have this. Obviously, 100 years ago they didn't, so you know that's a silver lining, I guess, that we still have the ability to. This way, and
definitely, yeah,
and to share. So I know that we had talked briefly about, just to let everyone know what we're going to be talking about today, that we had spoken about talking about being empowered. And of course, if there are any questions, feel free to ask from everyone here with us. But I think we could just jump right in. You know, like we've said, we're living through some we like to say unique times, because we can use some other not so nice words, but there's already enough of that energy going on. So why not see it as unique, see it as a space and a time to learn from. Yeah, like really take the time to learn. So I know that we had discussed some ways that we feel like we can empower ourselves, and we say empower ourselves because we can't necessarily empower others until we feel empowered ourselves. At least that's our understanding. So yeah, how do you feel about that? And what are maybe some tips that we could share that are exactly that, like ways in which we can feel empowered during times that are maybe not so empowering, or are empowering in certain aspects, but also bring up a lot of other emotions with it?
Yeah, definitely. I think it comes to feeling empowered, but also feeling like we are safe in our bodies, and our nervous system feels that we are safe, because we can be in fight or flight when things are happening, or even in the freeze response, which means that we are so dissociated that we are no longer even able to cope with what is happening. So it's important to notice where we are right now, and to see, to have some sort of a map with how we are feeling, and to check in with ourselves. Because if we don't have awareness, because all healing starts with awareness, if we don't have that awareness of how we are feeling right now, how we are relating to others, or how our old patterns may show up, because during times of where there's a real danger, the old trauma can be activated. So it's really interesting to notice our behavior and notice, am I acting in an old way? Is it that showing up for me to heal it right now?
Right.
And us seeing that also gives us the space to act differently, and why not use this as an opportunity for us to heal it?
Yeah.
Definitely.
And again, when we are healing and when we are feeling confident in ourselves, we can show up for the world and we can support others as well. Like for me, I had to learn how to deal with the pandemic and also learn how to hold space for my clients. And we learned that together, but I had to be that safe space and to regulate my nervous system, which basically means that I have to calm myself down so I can help others.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Are there, in what ways do you do that? And then we can share ways that we do that as well.
Sure, yeah. So for me personally, breath work has been crucial in healing my nervous system and healing that fight or flight reaction that I was most of the time in. And doing even taking small abdominal breaths and learning about a nerve that is called the vagus nerve, and that triggers our rest and digest reaction. And learning about that so much helped me understand that there are things that can actually send a message to our nervous system that we are safe now. So even if the threat is real or perceived, we show our nervous system that we are safe. So by breathing in our abdomen, and even 2-3 breaths like that, breathing deeply in our abdomen can send that signal to our nervous system that we are safe now. And with practice, that can really ground us and help us be present and be safe in our body. So that's one. Journaling and processing what is happening helps me a lot as well. Like actually writing down all the thoughts that are coming in my mind and trying to make a narrative that makes sense about it, because the thoughts can be so racing and not making sense. And going for walks in nature, trying to be present, because what we are trying to do is show our nervous system that we are now safe and that we are in the present moment. We are no longer back when maybe traumatic events happened or the environment we were in was not safe. And we can do this even when there's a real threat, because we can feel more safe in our bodies.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we fully agree with all of those. We also I use breath work a lot, and a gratitude practice I find also helps bring me into a state of joy and bliss and calm presence. And then also we of course create, like we like to think of our writing and our music and our film as alchemy, because we're able to be very honest with how we're feeling in a moment, and then use the expression to not only place it outside of ourselves like journaling also does, but also be aware of it, be able to dissect it, and then alchemize it, turn it into something positive. So
yeah, and helping others in return, because I realize that also music helps me validate my experience many times, and maybe in ways I don't know how to share it yet. And simply listening to music is another tool that can help us feel more regulated and more safe. So that's amazing. It comes.
Yeah, we create music.
Yeah,
how are you?
No, this is Miguel.
Yeah, no, okay. We create music and film. I guess I can, well, speaking for myself, but I guess also for you, saying the kind of things that we want to hear, or creating the kind of pictures we want to watch, something that will soothe and that will make us feel better with whatever is happening around. We don't like to use the word preachy, because I don't think we're preachy with our lyrics, but we're trying to share and tell ourselves from our higher selves, like, hey, this is happening, be aware of it, but still there's hope if you go in this direction, and this is the best perspective for us, to go from there and try to grow, and in this case, with all this pandemic and with everything that is happening, it makes you feel like, okay, how can we improve? How can we get better? How can we get more skills? How can we be more productive even under these circumstances? We adapt quick to the situation. So right now we had to adapt to being at home, and then being at home, trying to get the most out of it, and don't go crazy. And well, we're lucky because we have our baby, and she's been an amazing support, of joy.
Support, but also other challenges have come up,
because
but it's obviously really, with she's 6 months now. She was just under 3 months when everything kind of started, at least in New York, getting locked down. And even that transition of, you know, we work and we have an infant, and we don't have anyone else that can be holding her, and we don't have anyone else that can be being there to, you know, give us 5 minutes. Some days I went like 5 days without showering, you know, which was apparently a thing during the pandemic, but you know, wasn't necessarily my number one choice, but it's just how it ended up working out, because by the time that she would go to sleep, I was out with her.
She's a great reflection in the sense that you see this person, this new person, and you think, how can I give her a good world? What kind of actions? Because the moment if you're stressed, she's gonna be stressed.
Right.
So it makes you be.
Yeah.
So every time that you're not in a positive place, she feels it. You know, so it forces you to look into yourselves and be like, okay, how can I not affect this pure human? You know, it's not her fault that all the anxiety and all the stress happening around. So how can I be good for her? You know, so she can grow up with that energy and not just.
And even if there were moments that we weren't feeling positive, because it's life and not everything is rainbows and butterflies all the time, to be able to speak it and confront it, even to her, like, okay, I'm feeling very frustrated right now, baby. This is not your fault. It's just what's happening right now. And like you said, even just by speaking it or by seeing it in the journaling or being present with it, then you already begin the cycle of healing it, because you're clarifying it. You're giving it, I don't want to say, honoring it in a way, like, this is happening right now. And
you're not pushing it down and denying it or trying to make it. I think it's more, it can be more dangerous to change it or try to change it right away instead of accepting it. That can, like toxic positivity, trying to do our best in these circumstances can lead to more, can be more harmful in long term. So that's why it's important to honor where we are at and then allow ourselves to come back to our good enough version for now, but also having lots of compassion on this journey as a parent as well. It's I think it's challenging to have to soothe and to calm another human being, and also have to deal with these challenges as well. It's almost like you have to be there for someone else, and you have to do that for yourself as well. But I think that even having this awareness that how to soothe yourself, you are already doing a great job, because there can be a lot of parents who don't know that their child will take on the way they feel, and what the child needs is to have their needs met. If they're crying, to be held, or and that's what makes them feel safe. So if you have this basic awareness, I read a book that once said we have to get it right around 30% of the time to create a secure attachment in our children. So of course that leaves room for us being human. We cannot always be perfect, but trying to do our best always.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And that comes back around again to, how do we empower ourselves, and how do we empower our children, and how do we empower our friends and family? And I think a lot of it comes down to being honest, right? Like, and being okay with however we're feeling in that moment. And like you said, sitting with it and
accepting that nobody's perfect, and that
thinking about it, feeling it, and allowing ourselves to really untangle. You know, Miguel and I are lucky because we also have each other, and we're very open with each other about how we're feeling, even when it's an uncomfortable situation or an uncomfortable moment. Like, hey, you know, this is how I'm feeling, and we dissect it together. Yes, thank you. Transparency is very much key. AJ?
Yeah.
AJ Lex? I don't want to, you tell me how you pronounce your name. Sorry about that. And agreed that, it's about transparency with each other and transparency with ourselves, and just knowing that, like, everything, we're all human beings. We all have the same human heart. In my opinion, that means we all experience the same emotions. Different costumes maybe, or outfits that those emotions wear, but we all experience the same emotions, and therefore it's okay. And I think a lot of what has happened throughout history is, like, we've been made to think that some of those thoughts are not okay, or some of those feelings are not okay, and then we have to hide them, and that's where
that creates
trauma.
monster.
That's where
Shame, trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. I feel the same, and I'm a big advocate in helping people know what has been promoted as good, like as I said, toxic positivity, forcing this overly grateful mindset. I mean, gratitude is extremely beneficial, and it has its purpose, but we have to have stages. First, we have to accept, be aware of how we feel, then accept it, then allow ourselves to feel it and release it in ways, if it's anger, to write it down or punch a pillow or whatever that looks like for each one of us.
Mm-hmm.
And then after we've released that feeling, to allow ourselves to turn it into music, into whatever makes us feel like we are over that. And we also need to know when to stop feeling that feeling and to discern that moment and to move on, because a lot of people either don't allow themselves to feel that way, either they are stuck in that feeling of sadness or fight or flight. But we need to gracefully move through all the stages and learn how to be human, basically.
Yeah, and I think that 2020 has been a year that has definitely been exactly that, at least in our experience and understanding, whether it was everything with quarantine, the pandemic, or what's happening around the world right now with racial injustice. It's a lot. It's bringing up a lot of emotion. It's bringing up a lot of confronting how we're feeling and those emotions. And we're just really forced, not even forced, like we're almost being invited to take a step back, really face ourselves, deal with it, and see how to move from here so as to create a better world for all of us, and to be able to flow together and understand that we're all human beings.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like as humans tend to be comfortable, and that's our natural state. We go towards pleasure and we avoid pain. And we will not do sometimes things until they hurt bad enough and until we are somehow forced. So if we're comfortable, we will not want to heal. We will be busy in our daily lives and in the daily distractions. And we will be like, yeah, look at that later. Right now, I'm quite busy with the everyday life. And I heard people in my life saying every day how they didn't have time to do anything. It was work and then home and nothing else, and weekends. So I feel like a lot of people were asking for this space to actually meet themselves, and this is what we got. Even if it's not the best way that all of us dreamed of, but we have it. So now it's the question of what do we do with it and how we can actually use it to turn it into gold, because studies have shown that the way we perceive an event, it's the way it will impact us. So if we think this is meant to heal us, it will actually help us heal. But if we think this is happening to me and I'm a victim and I don't want this, it will make us feel.
I love that. Totally. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that it's unique times, and exactly that. We can, as with anything and in any moment, a dear friend of ours shared this really nice insight recently. Are we creating or are we reacting? And they actually have the same letters. So can we create from this moment? Can we take or give ourselves the space to breathe, really be honest about it, and then move from a place of creating from this moment how we choose to be? And it's okay if that is sadness, and that's okay if that is anger, and that's okay if it's the full spectrum of human emotions. Only in that will we really heal. Yeah.
I think it's about consciousness and being conscious rather than unconscious, because as I said, a lot of things are being reactivated, old ways of behaving. Even for me, I was shocked to see that I was acting in ways I was acting before I healed. And I was like, okay, this behavior is here. How can I now integrate it and be conscious with it instead of blaming it or be like, oh, this is here again, and I just want to get rid of it, but trying to be more gentle in being conscious and aware rather than unconscious, and to have conflicts with others or to project it, because we can project as a way of surviving and as a coping mechanism. We can be like, no, it's your fault, it's my partner's fault that I'm feeling this way, or do these
Right.
things. So it's really brave to be conscious and to look at ourselves and to look how we are contributing to how we are feeling and how can we basically save ourselves from that state and heal.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It's a complicated thing because we can say it as much as we want, and unless you are aware, unless you are conscious, it doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? Like there's plenty of people that don't understand that they're not conscious. Therefore, you cannot try to change it. You know, but I don't know. You're in the profession, so I don't know how people are reacting. If you feel like every time people are more awake at the same time, because it seems like it's through social media, but then you don't know what reality is. You know,
Exactly.
And if people don't want to feel like that, there's not going to be a change in their mentality. You know, but the hope is that really this forced to be alone, everyone at home with themselves. You know, the hope is that people will wake up from that.
Yeah.
You know, and take it as such and not increase violence, not increase aggression, which is also it's happening.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of time. See how people are gonna come out of this whole madness that happened in all the world. You know, we hope people want a little bit of more sweetness and try to, you know, you can see everybody's sick of racism. Everybody's sick of being lied to from the governments. Everybody's sick from so many different things. It's like, okay, so now we understand that it's affecting everyone. So hopefully we can all, you know, connect easier and understand that we are all under the same attack or whatever, or reality. I don't want to call it an attack. And hopefully that changes. You know, we all we do is try to throw love out there in shape of songs or videos, with the hope that with the hope that eventually people are gonna think that that's cooler than being violent or just sexual or whatever that it's being put in this box for everybody to not look around, you know, to just be in here.
Definitely.
I don't know. That's just the hope, because we're gonna keep writing the same kind of stuff, and but then you see around what's happening is like, okay, please, let's make this a final lesson so we can all move from there and become a better society, I guess.
Yeah, and I think the biggest gift we can give to humanity is healing, so we can actually influence them. And through songs and through art and through our own being, we actually influence people around us, and we are changing the world through our power of example and through our teachings that we are actually embodying, as you said, because there can be a lot of us who simply say things, but they don't actually follow through. And actually, this happens in the therapy room as well many times, because we are so focused on working with the brain and talking, but we are not so focused on implementing. And this is exactly what I try to do. Like, how can we move? I was going for therapy for around 3 years, and I saw that I was acting in the same ways. And I was like, as you said, I tried to be the person that I needed when I was like most like I needed the message that I'm sharing today, and the message that I'm sharing today is for the person that I was back then. And I feel like we need more implementation, and we need more structural steps and like easy steps on how we can heal ourselves, so we can help others, so we can create a better world. And we no longer need simply positive affirmations and things that sound good but don't provide a practical set of steps on how we can actually feel better, how we can heal trauma, and how we can end it. Because even if we are working to end the global crisis and everything, if we are not doing good in our own part, and if we are not influencing the people around us in a good way through the power of the example, we will not be able to actually do a lot. And it all starts with us. And the way we help our children grow, and we raise them, and we teach them to create better generations and better people that are going to come. So yeah, it's like it's everything that's interconnected, and it's amazing to actually be that change, and to know that so many people can learn through, as you said, through your songs, and for me through my posts and the messages that I'm trying to share. It's like we know that change is being created, and there's something, a light that switches in people's minds, and they're like, yeah, but maybe I should question the way I did things because it's no longer working.
Right.
Yeah, we were able to see from personal experience that it's all in your head. Like the moment you want, like things were dark until we didn't want them to be dark, which means that it's you who's creating that darkness. Of course, there's like an environment that affects and can influence one reality or another. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to be like, okay, given the circumstances, how can I make it good for myself and everyone around?
Right.
You know, so if we are aware of that magic that we all have, that we can just have nothing but still be the happiest person in the world. You know, if you when you are aware of that, then you have a bright future ahead of just, you know, enjoying life. And I guess it's all about that, why we're here, you know, to enjoy, make it easy, and yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And as you said, I think you've touched a very important point, because it's about learning that we are not the victim of our circumstances. Yeah, things may have happened and we are not to blame for that. If things have happened, it's like very unfortunate, and we are allowed to feel angry for what happened, but we also have a choice in reacting differently and into changing from the victim mentality and blaming everyone. So that's like huge for starting the healing journey. Am I willing to be empowered, or should I still go into blaming others? Because when I take my power back, I can actually see that I can change my thoughts, my feelings, and I can actually heal.
Yep.
It's like once you realize that everybody's a victim, you see that nobody is.
Yeah.
You know, but that way, yeah. We come from here.
Yeah, there's a lot of, it's easier to blame others at times, but until we realize that actually that kept us stuck, and that kept us in the same cycle where it's a lot of suffering to feel like everything is happening to you and you have no power. That's why I feel like healing is actually so empowering, because it gives us choice to know that if we are doing things differently, we will have different outcomes, rather than things are happening to me and I have no way of controlling them.
Right.
So it's such a huge change in perspective.
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome. Well, for that, you know, may we all be healed in whatever ways we need to be healed. May we all find
the power, you know.
Find the strength and the power in ourselves for that healing, which is both so strong and also so vulnerable at the same time. And what we can share, or you know, if you want to, you know, share anything, as far as I know, your feed is amazing with all these different tips and things that people can take not small, but can take these insights and utilize them and put them into their own lives. And for us, we could share our music or any kind of conversation about exactly this. And yeah, any questions from sorry, go on. What were you gonna
say? From my side, I think what we summed up is it's exactly what we should start with, and that's about realizing, having the awareness and trying to look inside. And a lot of us have been used to go to work and go to distractions, and maybe we didn't have enough time to sit with ourselves. So trying to sit with ourselves and cultivate a kind awareness. So instead of criticizing our ways of being gentle in what we notice, and seeing what small step we can take each day to change and to move towards a version that would make our lives easier, and where we would be able to enjoy more and be more resilient. So I think it's also important to see this process as a lifetime process, and to not think that you have to do a lot of work right now. Right. It's about like one small thing you can do daily that can actually add up to your healing journey, even if that's like keeping one promise to yourself to go for a walk in nature, or write a few words and to make your mind clear, or call a friend or cultivate friendships where you can be yourself. That is healing as well. Being seen and being validated is healing as well. Or finding a coach. It's about trying to see what works for you and try to cultivate discernment with what works for you, because even Instagram and it's full of modalities and of practices that can be very distracting. It's like I have so many things to choose from. It's overwhelming. I don't want anything. So it's more like understanding that we can discern. Some of them are for us, some of them aren't, and
Right.
it's more like what works for me and for where I am right now.
Yeah. Totally. One second, I'm gonna close the sound.
Well, we thank you so much.
Thank you as well. I'm really happy that we were able to do this.
Yes, same.
Yes.
We
Thank you so
really,
much.
This is what makes us happy about being able to connect through social media, because we can have these kind of conversations literally from different parts of the world and still have the same intention and the same heart understanding of all of this. So
yeah, it's a
and
good
the same goal.
it's a good sign for the world that
Yes.
people are in the same place, you know, that we all understand that we need to take the next step for the society to become greater, I guess, because it's now a global society.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And have the same goal and the same message, and we are so far away, yet it's great and healing to see that we resonate and we share the same experience that is different yet so similar. And yeah, it's good for people around us to see that we come from different environments, yet we can connect, and there are people who they will see that they can resonate with, and
Absolutely.
finding that is so healing sometimes. So yeah.
So do you want to share your website also, where people can find out more information or be in contact with you?
I think my Instagram, will it be shown here, or you can write it? I'm not sure how to write it or to.
Yeah, you could write it, or you could,
You
yeah.
can also say it because it will get recorded and then people can hear it.
Yeah, I'm writing here my Instagram. Hope I won't close this. Quite clumsy, so. Okay, I shared it there to have it.
Perfect.
Very good.
Awesome. I'm so happy that we connected, and I hope we can do this again.
Yes, we would love it. We should, we can check in a couple weeks or a couple, I would say a couple of days, but with our 6-month-old, who knows?
Yeah, we need to process this.
Yes, exactly. But we would love to do that.
Yes. Definitely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Have
so
a great
much.
night, I guess.
Yes,
Thank you.
good night.
Good night. Oh, have a great day, because for you it's still day.
We're in the afternoon.
We live in the past.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Enjoy the rest of the day, because I did already.
Good.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much. And we'd love to do this again. So let's do this again, please.
Same. Thank you so much. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.